Hello and welcome back. I'm DMAC and today I'm going to just do a little talk about one type of lock that is really causing me a lot of problems. I think a lot of picking videos celebrate your successes. It's nice to kind of show what you can do on camera, show locks being picked, gutted, and that sort of thing. But along with all of those successes, I think we've all got plenty of failures and overflowing naughty buckets, naughty boxes. And I've certainly got my fair share of locks that I can't pick. They're currently outside of my skill level, locks that I'm working towards. And some of those are more complicated than others. I've got all sorts here, and this is I don't know how you say it. I think it's a fish it. Yeah, very complicated lock. You've got false gates in it, all sorts of crazy mechanisms and levers in there. I've got this EVA 3KS, which again, is a pretty crazy lock. This was a new addition. And the one thing that all of these locks in particular have in common is they've got pretty unusual locking mechanisms. You might need specialist tools to kind of get in there. I know with the 3KS some people have to sort of put a light in the back and make a specialist tool to manipulate the sliders. But they're not the locks that bother me. The lock that's currently bothering me is this one. So this is a Gege. If you're not familiar with them, they're complete bastards. And I really don't know why I have so much trouble picking these. Because on paper, and when you look at what's inside a lot of these, they should be easier to pick than they are. I've always struggled with them. I think I first came across them when I first started lockpicking. I would buy job lots of kind of snapped Euros or used Euros to kind of pick. And I think I came across a couple of Geges and they were just really, really difficult. And as I do with a lot of locks, I took it all apart, looked at the insides, but I really struggled with them. And as I progressed on through, various other locks that were on paper a little bit tougher than these, I mean, I quite happily pick ASA 600 barrels all day, which on paper, should be tougher than these, I think. But these have always been my kryptonite, and I really couldn't figure it out. I can't figure it out for years. I think I had 3 of these. That was all that I had in my collection. And I really practiced, and eventually I managed to pick, I think it was 2 of those 3, which was a real achievement for me. But recently I decided to, really kind of break the cycle. I thought, I should be able to pick these, and I'm going to be able to pick these. So I decided to sort of buy a whole bunch of them and kind of work my way through them. But I'll just show you what's inside. A lot of them. I've got one gutted here. I think this was one of the original ones that I got. They do have some pretty unfriendly bitting on a lot of those. This is a 6-pin. But if we have a look at what's inside it, just going back quickly to these complicated mechanisms in locks like this that are really out of my skill set currently. But most Geges, they're just a pin tumbler. So you've got 6 pins, sometimes you've got 5 pins, and you've got various different configurations of pins, but they all have this same top pin. I'll just grab some tweezers and I'll show you up close, which is just a serrated pin. I mean, they're very, very sort of thick serrations. It's kind of like halfway between a double spool and a double serration. But they don't look that tough. You've got, in the plug, you've got overmilling. So overmilling is just where you've got a wider section at the top of the plug. And what that does mean is that you've got each of these ridges catch in that overmilling, so you get lots and lots of clicks. They feel very similar to pick to ASA barrels, actually quite similar. But where I've not mastered ASA barrels, but I can pick most ASA barrels that I've come across, and I kind of enjoy picking them. I just really haven't reached that stage with the Geges. And as you look in there, there's nothing special about the bottom key pins. I don't think they're not tapered or anything like that. These top pins, they're not tapered. The springs aren't extremely hard. So on paper, when you look at it, you think, well, I should be able to deal with that. But when it actually comes to picking these things, I've always struggled. They've really, really been my kryptonite. So what I decided to do recently, was just buy as many of them as I could. So I've got this little bunch here, and as you can see, a lot of these bear the yellow dot of shame, same as that first one that I showed you. Because I've just not been able to pick them. I think I decided what I would do. I think I started with this one, is just go back to progressively pinning it, you know. But I have found that even when progressively pinning them, what I do, the same as a lot of us do, strip it all down, you know, maybe we'll start off with one pin. You can start off with the front pin or the back pin. I think I tend to start with a back pin because it's harder to reach, so in theory, as you add more pins, you go further forward. And hopefully that's easier to get to. If you start with a front pin, it's quite easy to get to and set that pin, maybe. And as you get to the back pin, it can get progressively harder because you have to sort of fight around the warding. So I tend to do it from the back of the lock to the front. Anyway, so I progressively pinned this one last week, and you know, I picked it with 2 pins and then went to 3 pins and 4 and 5, and then when I put the 6th in, it really ramped up the difficulty, and I really don't know why. But I think it's just down to really good machining, really good tolerances within the lock, and those serrated pins up the top really interacting with the overmilling on the plug, and it just means that it's so, I don't know, they're just so difficult to set. I've gone through so many different picks. I mean, a lot of these, not all of them. For instance, there's a Gege P, there's a P extra. There's a P extra or Pextra, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but that's got a really kind of tight keyway. Some of them have got that, you know, that real kind of nasty keyway, but plenty of them have got this wide open keyway. I mean, I'd say it's reasonably wide open. You know, I can get to all of those pins. I can lever off the bottom of the lock there to get to them, so access isn't a problem. But it's just those pins and getting a feel for them. I think it's probably to do with tension control. I've really got to work on my tension to try and get these, and also just getting a feel for when those pins are set, because you've really got to nudge them up. Anyway, going back to progressively pinning this, I got this one picked last week, progressively pinned it, but I think I'm not sure if I'm actually learning how to pick Gege's just yet. I think what I was learning to do as I've progressively pinned this lock is how to pick this particular lock, because you end up learning the binding order as you progressively pin it. So I think I moved on to this one a couple of days ago. I did exactly the same without. I progressively pinned it, and I think it was yesterday actually. As soon as I put the 6th pin in, which happened to be that first one that you come to, I just couldn't pick it. I've sat there, you know, I've spent far too much time. I'm not even going to admit how much time I've spent trying to pick this particular lock yesterday. But as soon as I put that last pin in and it was a fully populated, I just really sort of struggled. I felt I was close sometimes. But yeah, really struggled. So what I've decided to do is to just add to this collection. I've got a whole box here just for Gege's, and I'm really gonna, you know, just hit these hard. I'm gonna practice them until I've cracked them, because I think for any locks that I've been picking over the last few years, this one, not this one in particular, Gege's in general, have just really outfoxed me, and I don't understand why. So I just wanted to, you know, chat about it today, and you know, as well as sort of celebrating victories that we have. I think, you know, perhaps sometimes it's nice to hear that, you know, you don't always get those successes, and you really have to sort of try hard to work at it. I think some of these, that one there, I found actually I got this one and he was really easy to pick, and he came as a pair. That one there, I think they're keyed the same, and this is just a 5 pinner. Yeah, they're keyed the same. That one I can pick that, you know, no problem at all. This one I can't pick. I've still got the yellow dot of shame on it. I just want to be in a place where I can consistently pick Gege's and, you know, feel that I've beaten Gege's, but yeah, I'm certainly not there yet. Anyway, I just wanted to share that failure with you all. You know, perhaps you've got a lock out there that really foxes you. If you have, let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to know that there are others out there suffering as I have suffered trying to pick these Gege's. But I will keep at it. And the only way you get better, especially at anything, but also in locksport, is to kind of keep at it. So I intend to just plug away at these Geges periodically, a couple of hours every other day or something, and I will crack the secret to these Geges. I don't know why they're my kryptonite. I know other pickers find them, they are notoriously difficult, but it's just hard to see when you've got these unassuming pins inside, why they're so difficult. Anyway, that's my little ramble for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, bung us a subscribe, always appreciated. And yeah, let me know in the comments what your kryptonite is. Mine is this the bastard Gege. I will get it one day. I will not be defeated. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.